Previously on Power Reviews.
You were sent to infiltrate Alphabet Soup, which crossed through an interdimensional rift.
Omega.
What is that thing?
It just crashed my ship.
The fluctuation in the cross-dimensional continuum. If Alphabet Soup disrupts the tachyon cloud...
Our Alpha is on that ship.
What did you just do to this ship?
An alliance. By going into the rift.
I need to get outside.
Isn't real.
Same person, different worlds.
The directors of Alphabet Soup.
Not you.
He snatched up the little girl.
You lost her.
Our master, the landlord.
She was standing next to the landlord.
K Alpha.
Guy will pilot the shuttle in and out.
Chaps,
Guy! Mitch! Mary! Shall we go?
get her to the ship and keep her safe.
BB!
Let's go!
Hold on!
Goodbye.
No!
He's just gone. Mitch and Mary might actually be getting through to K Alpha.
Vengeance.
Destroy Hexagon.
So a database saw all of Earth being destroyed.
I'm sorry.
What's happening?
No time, just come with us.
Power protect us.
And now, Database Rangers Power Review.
Salutations, and welcome to Power Reviews. It seems like forever since I last said that. It's strange saying it by myself. But Mayo has suggested that this may be a healthy means of therapeutic self-reflection, and considering how this series first began, I can hardly argue with that assessment. And as loath as I am to admit it, her emotional intelligence is better developed than my own. Getting to know her has been an enlightening experience. It makes me wonder what might have been had Alphabet Soup not... But I suppose that line of thought is what precipitated this cascade of events to begin with. No, it's best to learn from our mistakes and move forward. Mayo has calibrated the selective quantum utility electronic eye line to integrate a record of our recent experiences into this analysis, just as Database's Technopathy normally would. In making my selection, I wanted to address an installment of his professed favorite series. It occurs to me that after all this time, we were never able to review any of them together. Perhaps there's still time to change that. I certainly hope so. Until then, the title of this installment seems particularly apropos. This is episode 28 of Power Rangers in Space, The Rangers' Leap of Faith. This installment commences in media res, as the Power Rangers are shocked to learn that standoffish Space Ranger Red has escorted Astronema, their long-standing villainous rival, into their base of operations, having recently discovered that she is, in fact, his long-lost sister. Beyond a doubt, this situation seems intensely familiar. She reveals her knowledge of the location of Zordon, and that they will need her help if they wish to effect a rescue. And it now occurs to me that some level of context may be necessary to fully comprehend the implications of this current scenario. Okay, I convinced Guy to sit down and review a Power Rangers episode, so hopefully that'll help him calm down. You want to clue me in on what happened between you two? Do you recall when Database informed you that I had once mentored a team of Power Rangers?
Yeah?
There's quite a bit more to it than that. Zordon was a sage from the planet Eltar who engaged in a battle with the forces of evil 10,000 years ago, but was captured in a time warp by his enemies. In the early 1990s, he recruited teenagers as the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and guided the team through its evolution into the Power Rangers Zeo, and later the Power Rangers Turbo, before he was released from his prison and returned to his home planet. Unfortunately, the planet Eltar was then attacked by the forces of Dark Spectre, the self-proclaimed Grand Monarch of Evil, who captured Zordon for himself with the goal of slowly draining all his powers. 4 of the Turbo Rangers of Earth joined forces with Space Red to form a new team for the purposes of tracking down and rescuing the sage, all while being stymied by Astronema, who had been kidnapped as a child by the bounty hunter Darkonda and raised by Dark Spectre's synthetic general Ecliptor to be the Princess of Evil, until her origins were revealed through a matching set of lockets, a key to the past that again feels uncannily familiar. Wow. That's a lot. Yes, I suppose it is. So, Alphabet Soup captured you when you were a child and forced you to reprogram an alien AI into a computer virus. And then when you tried to escape, that virus immediately took out all of the Power Rangers that had been centralized under Hexagon, conquered the planet, and you had to create your own Ranger team in order to take it back. That would be an abbreviated yet accurate summation. Yes. With all this in mind, it's quite understandable why the Rangers would be skeptical of Astronema's motives, although she denies any direct involvement in Zordon's capture. The other Rangers all remain suspicious, with Space Ranger Blue demanding that she be restrained, a condition that Astronema agrees to against her brother's objections.
So, where's Zordon?
Kirak Galaxy, on the jungle planet of Utopah.
With that, we conclude the reenactment of the previous episode's denouement, as the Rangers set their course at maximum hyper-rush velocity to see if their new intel has any validity. And now, I believe you are all caught up.
So wait, does that mean the flashback we saw from Database of Earth getting destroyed
Indicates that he originates from my reality. Yes.
Wow. I thought I had a complicated past.
During their intergalactic sojourn, Astronema is chained in the engine room, which seems like an oddly sensitive area of the ship to be containing a dangerous prisoner, but I suppose that accommodations on a Megazord-sized megaship are more limited than one would expect. Her brother provides her with some sustenance, but she declines, as the two siblings initiate a discussion on the issue of trust.
I understand. Your friends don't trust me.
How can I ask him to trust me? How can I ask anyone?
And you, Andros? Do you trust me?
Yes, I do. Do you trust me?
Trust. That's a tough one. But I'm working on it.
I think that all you really can do is just keep trying to do the right thing. Every day. For as long as you can. And hope that that's enough.
He starts to leave, but she calls him back, wanting to know the fate of their parents. Unfortunately, their fate has remained uncertain since the conquest of their home planet, KO-35, by the villainous Dark Spectre. But Space Ranger Red still sits down to tell her what they were like, sharing memories until morning, when he's woken by the ship's computer, Decca, notifying him that they're nearing Utopah. What is that?
I set an alert on one of the squeeze just to be on the safe side.
What did you have it monitoring?
K-Alpha.
Come on. It's showtime.
He escorts her to the bridge, chains in hand, explaining to his baffled teammates that they're going to need to present a ruse of being captured in order to convince Dark Spectre to drop the force field around the planet. It's time.
Time to play!
The other Rangers reluctantly accept the ploy, chaining themselves up as Astronema summons her Wrath Staff to get into character.
Robot.
Please call me Alpha.
Open a communication channel.
As you command. It wouldn't hurt her to say please, you know. A little courtesy goes a long way in this galaxy.
Please, Alpha.
Communications open.
Thank you.
Excuse me! Excuse me! Excuse me! Excuse me!
Excuse you!
They're able to successfully open a communications line to Dark Spectre, and the Obsidian Overlord appears to fall for the ruse, lowering the force field to allow their entry. As soon as the connection breaks, the Rangers immediately free themselves and hurry to their scanners to monitor their descent.
Do we know where they're going? I'm tracking them, but...
Unauthorized access to cryogenic containment.
No!
As Space Red starts to take his sister away to the engine room, the Rangers are suddenly alerted to the presence of velocifighters, which Astronema assures them are only there to act as escorts, insisting that they must follow their lead.
To cryogenic containment.
What's happening?
No time, just come with us!
Cryogenic containment.
They nervously enter the unstable atmosphere, uncertain of what they will encounter.
Could you bring up the feeds to the cryo units? I'm working on it. I just...
Unauthorized
What is
access
it?
to cryogenic containment. Alert. Unauthorized access to cryogenic containment. Alert.
Bad.
Space Ranger Blue's bad feeling finally gets the better of him, and he veers the ship away from the escorts, losing the fighters in the midst of the lightning storm, but not without the ship being struck and losing all power.
Something's gone wrong.
Alert.
What have you three done now?
It's not us!
Something's happened to our Beta and the more Potsners. Come on!
Space Red returns to the bridge, but not in time to stop the Astro Megaship from crashing into the jungle below. After a moment of recovery, he quickly returns to the engine room to check on his sister, only to find that she has escaped through the cargo bay doors, leading the rest of the team to conclude that her defection had been a mere ploy to entrap them.
I can't believe K-Alpha was able to play us like that!
I can. Let's get this door open.
Just a moment. A little caution goes a long way. Space Ranger Blue leads the group into the surrounding jungle, with Red trailing behind, ashamed of his purported gullibility. The Rangers take note of the nearby patrol of Piranhatron, trying to decide if they're indicative of the presence of Zordon, or merely another sign of Astronema's ruse.
The soup agents!
What is she doing with them? Before they have a chance to discuss things further, the Space Rangers are suddenly ambushed on all sides by Piranhatron, led by Dark Spectre's treacherous bounty hunter, Darkonda.
Let the power DRPR protect us?
The Rangers morph, but are quickly overwhelmed, with Darkonda targeting his attacks on Space Ranger Red, until Space Ranger Yellow interferes, urging Red to seek out Zordon. This is, of course, despite the fact that they have no idea if Zordon is really on this planet, let alone in the immediate vicinity, and is rendered moot as Darkonda is still able to electrocute him from behind.
No!
Wait!
As the other Rangers hold off Darkonda, Astronema suddenly appears from the surrounding foliage, helping her brother to his feet and escorting him away.
We need to move!
They're almost immediately halted by Ecliptor, Astronema's loyal general and longtime guardian, who raises his sword to battle the Red Ranger, but looks into the eyes of his princess and finds that he cannot.
My counterparts will be restrained and brought to Master. The others do not interest me. Eliminate them.
Mitch, Mary, if this is about that slap earlier...
Probably not the best time to bring that up.
Look, guys, we've been through this before. This isn't who you are. We're friends, remember?
Best friends.
He lets them pass, much to their shared surprise.
Unfortunate. This generation appears to be obsolete. This will require correction.
Tragically, this moment of kindness leaves Ecliptor vulnerable, as Darkonda quickly strikes from behind, disabling the warrior and, quite literally, kicking him once he is down.
Leave them alone!
Lorem ipsum verbatim. Habeas corpus.
Astronema assists the injured Red Ranger through a clearing, where, lo and behold, Zordon is waiting, trapped within an energy tube, which is strangely unguarded. Space Red incredulously approaches the Eltaran sage, who struggles to speak.
Andros,
Zordon, what are you trying to tell me?
Andros, it's just that after all this time, I can't believe that you are still such a fool.
Baffled by the sudden insult, all is immediately made clear to the Red Ranger as the visage in the cylinder is replaced by that of Dark Spectre, who calls out to his treacherous bounty hunter.
At long last, I am whole again!
Voice. Where do I know that voice?
Your threads are intertwined so long as Master considers it appropriate. Serve him well, Toy. Restrain my counterparts.
Piranhatrons swarm everywhere, hauling forth the other Rangers in chains and restraining Space Ranger Red, who plaintively turns to his sister for an explanation.
Karan, how could you? Karan, tell us all! How could you do such a thing?
Her features smooth to ice.
It was my pleasure.
Darkonda immediately questions her proclaimed ruse, but she quickly knocks him on his back, reasserting her position within Dark Spectre's hierarchy.
It seems I fooled you as easily as I fooled them.
Her Dark Master appears both convinced and reassured by this action, charging Astronema with finishing off the Rangers herself before he takes his leave and teleports away.
My name is not Toy. I have not survived 9 destructions to be called Toy.
No.
My name is...
Aparicio!
Find them. Now. The Red Ranger begs for mercy, but Astronema simply orders Darkonda to destroy them all.
What just happened? I teleported us as far away from them as I could.
This panel. This is where I nearly... Never mind. Please, just no one touch this airlock panel. It's lacking in safeguards at the moment.
Okay.
Now, let's try to focus on what this thing is and how we can stop it.
We know what it is. That voice, that laugh, those eyes, the way it moves, the way it merges with other beings, the 9 lives.
No.
Anyone want to clue me in?
It's Darkonda.
Who?
I need a bigger gun.
One of the most vicious and treacherous warriors in the entire United Alliance of Evil.
Wait, weren't they the ones?
Behind the invasion of Earth in 1998? Yes. And Darkonda was at the forefront of the main assault.
What happened to him?
We all thought he was destroyed in an attempted coup against their leader, Dark Spectre. But if he survived somehow, then that throws everything else we know about that day into question.
And you're sure that this is him?
Undercover agents are conditioned to remove any memories that might give away our true identity. But that laugh... there are some memories you can't get rid of. I heard it and everything just came rushing back. I was there on that day as a child. His sword up to my throat. And then
Darkonda advances upon the Rangers, raising high his sword, and is suddenly struck in the back with a bolt of lightning from Astronomer's wrath staff.
I was saved by a Power Ranger. The Yellow Ranger drew him away. And that was the day I knew I would do everything in my power to repay the Rangers for everything they did. And I would never stop fighting. It's time to let Darkonda know who he's messing with.
As Darkonda falls to the ground, Astronomer calls for the Rangers to duck, hurling her bladed boomerang at the Piranhatron captors and moving to free them. Together, they unite against the armies now surrounding them. This isn't going to be easy. The last attack severely damaged the wireless interdimensional interface portal alignment device, and I don't know how we're going to separate the Alphabet Soup agents without it.
What about an exorcism spell?
I can give it a shot, but it's not going to do much good unless we can get him to stay still.
Leave that to me. I'll draw his attention, one way or another. But we're going to have to find him first.
Well, that shouldn't be too tough. My tablet's still synced up with the squeeze. Uh-oh.
What is it?
The directors.
I found you.
No!
Find cover if you can. We don't know how long we have before he...
I'd say no long.
Move!
Astronomer's wink of reassurance accomplishes little, as the army of Piranhatron advances upon them, and Darkonda recovers, raising his sword once again.
Peekaboo. Ooh, I see you picked up a few new moves since last time we tangled. But really now, you were no match for my previous forms. T-Omega nearly put you through a wall. Mitch and Mary sent you flying out the door. What do you think I'm going to do to you this time?
The same thing you did to the directors?
Oh, them? They're still alive. Considering their history, I thought it might be fun to compare hobbies later. Not sure I can say the same thing about you, Agent Y.
Last I checked, I'm not a monster.
Oh, such flattery. Too bad it won't get you anywhere. Traitor!
Suddenly, twin beams of green light strike at Darkonda, driving back the villainous creature and ending his fifth life in an explosive fireball.
Exercise with Secundus!
Did you really think that was going to work? I'm clearly far too clever for that.
Give me back my daughter!
It's quickly revealed that Darkonda's assailant is none other than Ecliptor, as the Ranger's long-standing adversary forces his way through the Piranhatron army to come to the aid of his Dark Princess. Unfortunately, he is still gravely injured and insists that Astronomer leave him behind and flee to safety with the Rangers.
Get her out of here.
He clipped her!
The Rangers and Astronomer effect a hasty retreat as their former foe stays behind to hold back the swarming army.
How could I forget? One of those freeze-dried agents was your daughter, wasn't she? Perhaps we can arrange a reunion.
The party ends now, Darkonda.
What?
Hold on!
You're not getting rid of me that easy.
I beg to differ! The Rangers reach the megaship just in time, Astronomer blasting the pursuing Piranhatron with her wrath staff, and the Blue Ranger sealing the airlock doors, finally escaping the hostile jungle planet of Utopah.
Why did you do that? My agents were inside of that thing. All of them. My daughter!
I did what had to be done.
But...
Later, aboard Astronomer's Dark Fortress, Darkonda has been placed in command by Dark Spectre. And I'm just now realizing that the writers have a deep fascination with the word dark. I understand this was somewhat of a common trend in superhero media during the 1990s. However, as the Quantrons bring forth an injured Ecliptor, Dark Spectre makes it clear that this is only a temporary arrangement, planning to restore the status quo at the earliest convenience, despite Darkonda's complaints over the recent betrayal.
Thanks to you, I only have 4 lives left!
Presenting no sympathy, the Grand Monarch of Evil remains confident in his plans to ensure that Astronema and Ecliptor's loyalties will never waver again.
No. I cannot fail. I was supposed to return them to Master. Master does not permit failure. Failure demands punishment.
Aboard the Astro megaship, Space Red escorts his sister to the bridge, where his teammates are left with the tough decision of what to do with their former adversary.
I cannot fail.
Your mission was to bring us to your master.
Yes, and I cannot fail. Failure demands punishment. I cannot fail. Master will be disappointed.
Then let's not disappoint him. We're going to make sure you fulfill your mission.
The Princess of Evil is shocked when the Rangers offer her an apology, uncertain how to respond to such kindness.
Look, I don't expect you to like me. I mean, I've never had a friend. I didn't deserve one.
You mean no punishment?
No punishment.
No failure?
So long as you take us directly to where your master is, you will have achieved your mission objective.
Objective achieved at all cost. This is what Master dictates. Yes. There will be no failure. There will be no punishment. I will take you to Master.
Astronema, or perhaps I should say Corone, hopes that one day the Rangers will believe that she doesn't want to hurt them anymore. And in an impressive display of sentiment, they reveal they already believe her, and reassure her that for the first time ever, she is surrounded by friends. And that's the conclusion of this installment. So, what was my assessment? Well, that was, quite honestly, the best episode of Power Rangers I've ever observed. I know that's not saying much considering my previous history with reviewing, but I might finally understand some of what Database has always seen in this franchise. Despite the tight focus on the relationship between Space Red and Astronema, every character is faced with a difficult decision as they determine where their trusts and loyalties lie. Each for the Space Rangers themselves experiences a slightly different expression of their distrust. Space Ranger Blue views her as a strategic liability, Black treats her as a threat, Pink holds a grudge, and Yellow expresses concern for Red. As a result, earning their trust feels like a meaningful accomplishment, and their shifts in behavior all feel reflective of their attitudes, with Blue leading the apologies, Pink expressing trust, Black opening up, and Yellow conveying empathy. Even with their limited dialogue, these Rangers managed to convey more development than I think I ever observed from the Samurai or Megaforce Rangers. The villains, likewise, demonstrate impressive complexity. Ecliptor is clearly torn between his duties to Dark Spectre and his compassion for Astronema, alternating between catharsis and tragedy as he repeatedly puts himself in harm's way. Darkonda, on the other hand, is only barely kept in check by Dark Spectre, eagerly leaping on any opening to attack his comrades when given the slightest opportunity or excuse. A vile creature, as we have now learned for ourselves. Furthermore, both Dark Spectre and Astronema are portrayed as surprisingly competent as they engage in a back-and-forth series of moves and counter-moves. Although she appears to convince him of her initial capture of the Rangers, he still takes the precaution of acting as Zordon's double to further confirm her loyalty, a move that she is quickly able to convince him that she foresaw, and that her deception was directed towards the Rangers, not him. Even after she then takes this opportunity to escape, he still appears confident in his long-term plans to return her to his ranks, suggesting that he has countless contingencies in place for exactly this sort of situation. Quite formidable adversary indeed. True, it does rather strain credulity that he would have this level of preparation and still choose to leave Astronema and Darkonda to their own devices, not to mention how easily the Rangers are able to locate the false prisoner despite their off-course landing on an unfamiliar planet. But these elements do serve to keep the plot moving and focused, and the multiple shifts in context serve to keep the audience guessing at Astronema's loyalties just as effectively as the Rangers. However, the true strength of this installment lies in its character dynamics. Space Ranger Red drives this episode effectively, as his choice to place all his faith in his formerly adversarial sister is constantly put to the test, not only by the forces of evil, but also by his own comrades and by Astronema's own mercurial nature. Even as he surrenders command duties to Ranger Blue, he still remains the emotional cornerstone of the team, ultimately overcoming one of their greatest foes, not through combat, but through compassion. And I do suppose I've developed somewhat of a soft spot for emotional heroes trying to find the best in their long-lost family members. The brief moment of bonding in the engine room is a clear grace note, as their previous roles of ranger and villain are stripped away, and for a time they simply become two siblings reconnecting for the first time over their common losses.
Sometimes I wonder.
Overall, The Ranger's Leap of Faith is a surprisingly poignant exploration into the nature of trust, with a compelling storyline which effectively utilizes its characters and appears to integrate smoothly into the larger arcs and themes of the series, despite some contrived circumstances. I can see why Database speaks so highly of the series. Hopefully, soon, he will be able to properly review one of its installments for himself. We are steadily closing in on the landlord's location as we speak. My alternate self has been most accommodating since realizing the extent to which our goals aligned with her assigned task, although how far she can be trusted in her current state remains to be seen. The Morpotsners remain unresponsive after their encounter with Darkonda, and the directors were both heavily injured as well, although I would be hard-pressed to call the latter completely undeserved. As for myself, I've been preparing some upgrades to the ship's systems. The organic biofoundation provided by the digital nucleic analog base code should provide us with some additional offensive capabilities that I look forward to testing on our next encounter with the landlord. Until then, I will simply have to trust that Database will be able to hold on until we arrive. That will have to be our personal leap of faith. Because if not, then I suppose this will be our final analysis, because there's no turning back now. But assuming there will be someone, somewhere, viewing this recording sometime in the future, I will conclude as he would. So until next time, farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you.